nursing. In addition, 138 trainee nurses who joined the training 3 years ago will complete their training by August 2026. Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the recruitment of nurse educators is currently underway as part of a strategic initiative to strengthen training capacity within the healthcare system and ensure the continuity of training. This measure is intended to enhance the quality and output of nursing education, support the expansion of training programs, and ensure a sustainable number of qualified nursing officers are available to meet present and future service delivery needs. Madam Speaker, my ministry has expanded the range of services to respond to evolving needs in patient care, including diabetic foot care, renal transplant, cardiac services, and geriatric services, among others, which necessitate the deployment of additional doctors and nursing staff for their effective operationalization. However, in view of the prevailing shortage of medical and nursing personnel across public health institutions, further introduction and full implementation of certain new services cannot be envisaged at this stage. Madam Speaker, to address the significant shortage of staff in nursing cadre, the following measures have been taken by my ministry to address the shortfall. 67 nursing officers are currently employed on a month-to-month basis. 45 retired nursing officers are presently employed on a sessional basis under the bank scheme. Approval was obtained for recruitment of 126 nurses on sessional basis. However, only 35 nurses assumed duty following offer made to 41 eligible candidates. Employment of 15 nursing officers on contractual basis for a period of 1 year is underway. Madam Speaker, I am also informed that the scheme of service for the post of nursing officer has been amended in November 2025 to provide opportunities for candidates who have successfully completed recognized nursing programs other than the Central School of Nursing, such as Polytechnic Mauritius Limited and other universities, to be recruited in the government service. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part B and C of the question, I am informed that the recommendations of Pay Research Bureau 2026 provide both retention mechanism for serving nursing officers and incentives to enhance attractiveness of profession for school leavers. I am informed that officers of nursing officer cadre are allowed to accumulate vacation leave beyond the authorized ceiling, with the option to work during the excess accumulated leave period and receive payment in the at the time of retirement. Provision is also made for the refund of unutilized casual leave. These measures contribute to improve conditions of service and serve as an incentive for retention. Madam Speaker, in addition, nursing officers are granted release to follow continuous professional development courses as they are required by law to obtain a minimum of 10 CPD credit points annually for registration with a nursing school. This facilitation of continuous training and professional development not only supports the retention of experienced staff, but also enhances the overall appeal of the nursing profession to prospective entrants, including school leavers. Madam Speaker, in line with the budgetary measures in financial year 25-26, my ministry will pursue further recruitment of 700 trainee nurses in the 2 subsequent years. But in view of the shortage of qualified candidates locally, it is unlikely that such recruitment exercise will yield positive outcome. In view of the circumstances, the proposal to recruit 200 nursing officers from abroad is under consideration by my ministry, subject to all necessary approvals are being obtained. This measure is intended to complement ongoing local training and recruitment initiative for the short term. Madam Speaker, my ministry remains firmly committed to strengthening the healthcare workforce, which is crucial to ensure the continued delivery of quality service in public health institutions.
Thank you. Yes, Doctor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We do have, obviously, a very ongoing shortage of nursing personnel in this country. May I ask the Honourable Minister whether he will consider the setting up of a foundation program run by the Mauritius Institute of Health that will use as a template for those who unfortunately do not meet the criteria to enter either the Central Nursing School or the Polytechnics, which will boost the number of school leavers or those who are lesser achievers to get into a career of nursing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, we have already revised the scheme of service and we have brought it slightly down so as those who are getting training in the universities, those who have got university degrees, and then those who are diploma holders from the universities and then from the Polytechnic, that they will be authorized, even they will be allowed to compete, they will be allowed to take part in in the selection exercise. Unfortunately, though we have done that, unfortunately, there hasn't been any good return. There hasn't been too much of interest into it. I have got no objection if tomorrow we can start a crash course, an important course by the Institute of Health. We can do it. Our main problem is, I don't know what has been the mentality of our youth these days, that they are not willing to come towards the health sector. But I'll try, if such is a suggestion, I'm going to look into it. But I can tell that actually there are many who have already undergone training in the polytechnics and in the universities, but unfortunately they are not willing to join the service. So according to the PRB report, they have been given too much of incentives. But I'll try if this is an advice.
Okay. Dr.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Maybe the Minister, Honorable Minister, could consider to get the new recruits to sign bonds so that they work for at least a few years before considering to go for other sectors or private sectors.
Madam Speaker, they will take to their hills once I take this decision. It's impossible.
I didn't understand. I'm sorry. I didn't understand your reply.
My reply is simple. If in case I'm going to introduce it, all of them will run away.
Okay.
I will not have anybody to serve in the hospitals.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Rukni.
Madam Speaker, could the Minister advise whether his main reply, as regards to the recruitment of nursing trainers, as we need more, does it not contradict with the actions of the polytechnics in not renewing the contracts of some 20 nursing trainers?
That polytechnic doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Health. But I am told they were contractual workers. But here in our case, Mauritius Institute of Health, that was a very flourishing organization, a very important organization, internationally recognized. But unfortunately, the last 10 years, they have destroyed everything. And that is the reason why we have now to recreate it, and we have to recruit trainee nurses so that those recruits who are coming, the new ones who are coming, can get the best form of training. That is the only reason.
Okay. Yes, Doctor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. But what if the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, sponsors education for students, nursing students, and then get them to sign bonds so that they stay in the service?
To start with, they are not interested. Our problem is we had advertised. They are not interested in coming. If they are not interested in coming, how can you ask them to sign bond? So we have to create an atmosphere where they will take an interest to serve. The aspect of service isn't there. That is a problem.
Okay. You'll have time to brood upon it, all of you. It sounds like a very important issue. Okay. The Honourable Second Member for Rivière des Anguilles, Suivez.
B99, please. Madam Speaker, I thank the Honourable Member for the PQ, which will allow me to inform the House where matters stand regarding the proposed reform in the educational sector. There are a series of changes which have already been undertaken. Today, with the foundation program, which has replaced the extended program, we are already giving nearly 2,500 students the opportunity to follow an academic pathway which suits them. We are also giving nearly 4,000 students with 3 and 4 credits the opportunity to do their HSC instead of heartlessly kicking them out of the system like the previous regime. Obviously, this decision may impact on the quality of HSC results next year. Madam Speaker, while the former Minister of Education did not believe in participative or collaborative strategic policy development framework, I opted to act differently. That is why my ministry undertook extensive consultations during the Assises de l'Éducation held during April and May 2025 in both Mauritius and Rodrigues to obtain stakeholders' views on priority areas for reform in the education sector. Subsequently, a technical committee was set up to incorporate the feedback and recommendations into the blueprint for education, intended to serve as the strategic policy framework for educational sector transformation. Madam Speaker, on 14th November 2025, the government examined the first draft of the blueprint, and an interministerial committee was constituted to further deepen the analysis of the specific recommendations made in the blueprint. Meetings of the Interministerial Committee were convened on 18th, 21st, and 24th November 2025, respectively, and a report was submitted to government on 28th November 2025. We know that the public at large and parents and stakeholders in general are not always appeased with abrupt changes in the educational system. We know that any major change in the education system will have far-reaching impact on the lives and future of Mauritians. Given that this government believes in dialogue and consultations, it was agreed to hold further public consultations regarding proposal options A and B as follows. Option A, admission to grade 7 in national and regional secondary schools based on the PESAC assessment, together with the abolition of the NC examination. Option B, admission to grade 10 in national secondary schools following a review of the existing mode of NC assessments. Madam Speaker, on 5th December 2025, government was further informed that a communiqué would be issued on the same day inviting public comments on the options proposed. These consultations were held from 8th December to 20th January 2026. The later date was subsequently extended to 13th February 2026. Madam Speaker, these public consultations were conducted through an online survey which was carried out to seek the views of the public at large on the proposed options, which include proposals for admission in secondary schools, grading system at PESAC, and gender model for secondary schools. A consultative meeting was also convened on the subject on 15 January 2026 with ministers, junior ministers, and members of the National Assembly and members of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly. Madam Speaker, in the month of February 2026, further consultations were held with other relevant stakeholders, including Service diocésain de l'éducation catholique, the Private Secondary Education Authority, the Mauritius Examination Syndicate, the MIE, the Special Education Needs Authority, as well as the unions of the primary and secondary education subsectors. Furthermore, on 5th February 2026, my ministry engaged in a consultative meeting with students and parents on the options mentioned above. On 11th February 2026, further consultations were held in Rodrigues, again with students and parents. In light of all these additional consultations, my ministry convened a meeting of the Interministerial Committee on 23rd March 2025 to review the findings and formulate recommendations with regard to the preferred option for admission to secondary schools, the grading system for PESAC, and the proposed gender model for schools. Madam Speaker, although we are no longer in the consultation phase, innovative ideas and new concepts continue to emerge. We care deeply for our children. Under the current zonal system, for example, for admission in regional schools, a child may be required to travel from Grand Gobe to La Tour-Kénique, or from Beaubassin to the eastern part of the country, simply to attend school. This is unfair. We are therefore seriously considering reviewing the zonal system. Moreover, certain decisions taken by the previous government adversely affected the curriculum for lower secondary. In practice, because students from the extended stream and mainstream were required to sit for the same national certificate of examinations, the curriculum was adapted to accommodate the extended stream. Unfortunately, this did not adequately serve those students preparing for the Cambridge examinations. The results, as we all know, speak for themselves. Madam Speaker, we have initiated serious discussions with Cambridge University regarding a new curriculum for lower secondary, that is for grade 7 to grade 9, so that our students are adequately prepared to take their school certificate examinations in the future. Soon the recommendations will be presented to the Cabinet and to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether there is a timeline as to when all these changes will be implemented?
I wish to inform the Honourable Member, with your permission, Madam Speaker, that certain decisions which we propose to bring, we have already started, okay. But there are certain decisions we will have to respect the legal time frame before implementing them. We need to give sufficient time for stakeholders before implementing these measures, depending which, yes.
Yes, Mr. Ramkilawan.
Apart from academic reforms, is the Honourable Minister catering for any measure to tackle the severe problem of indiscipline among youngsters in schools?
Definitely, Madam Speaker. For the past 10 years, I will say, much was not done regarding, you mentioning indiscipline, regarding proliferation of drugs, bullying, other forms of indiscipline. Last year, Honourable Member, we conducted a workshop for nearly 10,000 members of the public, students, parents, and so on, to sensitize them on bullying. And this year, we have already started sensitization campaign on cyberbullying. With the support of the Honourable Minister of IT, we have already undertaken it, and we have sought the help of the police force in order to educate, sensitize, train our staff and students regarding the problem of drugs and what are the measures that have to be taken. And another important measure, Madam Speaker, is the emotional well-being of our kids. What are the factors that have to be taken so that we are not only focused on the academic side, but the total development of our kids, and especially at a time, let it be mentioned, at a time when many kids come from broken home, where there is domestic violence and so many toxic activities taking place. How do we look after our kids amidst that situation? All these are being taken care of by different members of my ministry and other stakeholders, other ministries which are helping Ministry of Education.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Jamal.
Thank you, Madam. One of the major reforms is the replacement of extended program by the foundation program. So can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether we are on the right track concerning the foundation program?
Thank you very much for that question, Honourable Member. I think it was yesterday you accompanied me along with Honourable Doriaou to a secondary school in the south, if I'm not mistaken, and we saw the visu, the good work of our kids. For example, I wish to, with your permission, to inform the House, we saw our girls, foundation program girls, grade 8, who are doing plumbing, and they presented there's the work. And also, given that we are talking about, we import a lot of food, 80% nearly, Honourable Minister of Agriculture will take note of that, how our kids, foundation, they are coming with hydroponic and how they are going for horizontal and vertical farming, smart farming. So it is on the right track, and I wish to inform the Honourable Member that foundation program, soon we are going to recruit around 14 to 16 coordinators to oversee the work that is being done by the foundation program, because we are giving opportunities, Madam Speaker, to students. If we were not in power, if this government were not here, we would have kicked nearly 2,500 students on the street by giving them a curriculum not adapted to their needs. But we are empowering these kids, and gradually this may help at various levels. Food security, but also we are empowering these kids so that their skills can help in proper human resource management in the short and long time.
Thank you. We're going to stick with that question. As usual, very interesting. Okay, then after that.
Thank you. As the Honourable Minister is saying that opportunities are being given to students, will these students be given the opportunity to do Oriental languages and KM at the same time?
Oh my
Thank you.
God. No. Minister, we had that question last week. Yeah. So we're not going to go into that. We already had the question. Mr. Bichuk, I think, asked the question. He replied. It's like we are repeating every Tuesday. Of course, I'm interested in the subject. Yes, Mr.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. This question is not a joke, it's a philosophical one. While we're talking about reforms, can we imagine that someday we organize all the examinations, not just Cambridge, but we have them here in Mauritius?
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. This is we need to reflect, okay? We can't throw an answer like that, all right? And we are there are some papers, at least, Honourable Member will take note, there are some papers which are marked, prepared by Mauritians, all right, already,
Oriental languages?
and other
Okay.
subjects also.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, with that question, next question is Mr. First Member for Portrush Maritime.
B100.
Thank you, Mr. Dugan.
Madam Speaker, in my written reply to Parliament question B1098 of the sitting of 25th of November 2025, I had provided the reason why the Anjalay Coopen Stadium is not fully operational. I would like to highlight once again the deplorable state of sports infrastructures that this government inherited from the previous regime. My ministry has already initiated urgent and corrective action to address the issues. The main reason why the Anjalay Coopen Stadium is not fully operational are as follows: heavy water leakage on the grandstand, absence of fire certificate due to faulty fire alarm system, defective fire hose, rails and firefighting equipment, damaged bucket seats and unusable changing rooms, broken tiles and damaged false ceiling, flaking and cracking paint, and pigeon infection. Madam Speaker, for the current financial year, an amount of 15 million rupees has been provided to my ministry for upgrading work at Anjalay Coopen Stadium. As at date, these funds have already been fully committed as follows: A contract amounting 13 million rupees had been awarded for upgrading works. The work comprised removal and replacement of damaged tiles in corridors and changing rooms, repairs to spoiled concrete, internal and external painting works to the front stadium block, application of floor dressing, paint where required, replacement of damaged false ceiling, and removal of wooden ducting. These work have been successfully completed last week. A second contract amounting to some 3.2 million has been awarded to the supply and installation of bird netting and other accessories, such as eagle bird eyes and propellers at the stadium. The works are ongoing and are expected to be completed in April 2026. Bids for supply for the installation of a new fire alarm system at the stadium are currently at evaluation stage. Thus, as a result of the work undertaken at the Anjalay Coopen Stadium, no funds remain available under the current financial year for additional upgrading work that are required to render the latter fully operational. The outstanding work that need to be undertaken thereat are as follows: general electrical wiring and flooding repairs, major civil and piping works, waterproofing works, replacement of bucket seat, upgrading and synthetic track, installation of a scoreboard, and general painting work. Madam Speaker, in view of the extent and nature of the works required at the stadium, substantial investment will be necessary to restore it to the required standard. My ministry has already worked out a comprehensive scope of work for the rehabilitation of the whole stadium, and a financial proposal would be made in the forthcoming budget 26-27 to the Ministry of Finance. Hence, at this stage, it would be premature to state a specific date for the reopening of the stadium. However, Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight that presently other sections of the stadium are being put at the disposal of a sports club and organization for sports and non-sport activities.
Yes, Mr. Jumani.
Okay. From what we heard from the Minister, it is clear that it is not going to open in the next 12 or 18 months. But despite the stadium is closed, are you aware that monthly we are spending like 1 million rupees as fixed costs? And this is not a blatant case of spending public money, public funds unjustly?
I'm fully aware that the stadium has, like I said, there are some activities that are ongoing, some sport activities, like football matches, sport football matches. The parking is using for some rally that we are occasioning for the function. And there are also some activities that is going on. So we can't stop that. We have curtailed a lot of expenses, but we have to do with what we have.
Yes, Mr. John.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can I know from the Honourable Minister when the last time a football match was played there?
I mean, like I said, the stadium, what we inherited,
Minister, he asked a specific question. When?
I don't have the exact answer, but I'm saying
The answer is you
that,
don't know.
No, I'm saying that we did not have a real match in the stadium because it was not homologation.
You just said there was a football match
Last
recently.
question, last supplementary.
Though we spent like 13 million rupees and we have a survey done by the CAF, and can you lay the report of the survey to the National Assembly?
I mean, following close collaboration with the Mauritius Football Association, that is the MFA, inspection of the stadium, Anjalay Coopen, was carried out by a Confederation African de Football, CAF, a civil inspector during his mission in June 2025. As per the report submitted to the latter, the two stadiums, I mean Anjalay Coopen and George Suivez Stadium, currently do not meet the minimum CAF stadium requirement, like you just asked, to host international matches. So there is no homologation for this match. But the CAF inspector highlighted that the Anjalay Coopen Stadium required major upgrading work that we are doing actually, and what we have to do in the future.
Can you lay on the table the CAF? I'm not quite good at this one. Report? The CAF report, is that what you want, Mr. Juman? Yes, the CAF report.
I can table
yes.
I can table
Facile. That's it. Next question. Next question, Mr. Seaburn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B/101, please.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I am informed by the National Land Transport Authority that under the present registration system, both non-plug-in hybrid and plug-in hybrid vehicles are recorded under the same hybrid category. With regard to part A of the question, I am further informed that as per records of the NLTA, as at end of February 2026, there were A, 11,319 fully electric vehicles, including 4,820 autocycles, 15 motorcycles, 6,262 motor cars, and 56 buses, 88 goods vehicles, 75 double cab pickups, and 3 dual-purpose vehicles. And B, 2,209 hybrid vehicles comprising 2,208 motor cars and 1 dual-purpose vehicle, which, as mentioned above, includes plug-in hybrid vehicles. In view of the increasing number of electric and hybrid vehicles, the NLTA has been requested to refine its data on vehicle registration so as to allow for a clear distinction between plug-in vehicles and conventional hybrid vehicles henceforth. Madam Speaker, with regard to part B of the question, I am informed that as at date, there are 56 electric buses registered at the NLTA and which are already in operation. most of them are from the NTC. This number is expected to increase further with the addition of 60 more electric buses over and above the 40 already operating, donated by the Government of India to the Government of Mauritius for use by the NTC, and further 5 electric buses already received from the People's Republic of China for their use by the same company, that is the NTC, and for which we are thankful. So from almost 0 electric buses, we will have 116 buses, out of which 105 will be for the NTC, on our roads before the end of this year. So quite a quantum leap in terms of addition to our roads. You will surely appreciate that. Furthermore, under the bus modernization program, a financial subsidy of up to a maximum of 3.5 million rupees per bus is provided to bus operators to encourage the acquisition of cleaner and more energy efficient buses, and this will go a long way towards encouraging the electrification of the bus fleet. Support is also being mobilized under the international programs such as the Global Environment Facility, which aims at promoting low carbon transport. The project will run up to September 2028, and with GEF funding about 5.6 million USD, approximately 260 million rupees, and my ministry has made a request for the obtention of financial support for the procurement of charging facilities through photovoltaic panels so as to mitigate the carbon footprint in the land transport, a sizable contributor to national emission of CO2. Madam Speaker, the measures that I have just mentioned above underline strongly the will of the government to pursue a policy of electrification in the public transport sector, which with emphasis on renewable energy. This policy will further consolidate our transition towards a cleaner public transport. Furthermore, I am informed by the NLTA that electric vehicle charging facilities, which is part of the question, are currently available at 16 filling stations across the island. However, it is necessary to underline that a significant number of electric vehicles currently in use, including electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles, are charged mostly at home of the owners overnight due to the time it normally takes for a battery to be fully charged. Besides availability at filling stations, charging facilities are also provided at major shopping malls, at some restaurants and hotel premises, and at hotel premises for the convenience of owners of electric or plug-in hybrid vehicles. Excluding the 16 filling stations, about 60 such facilities are already in operation around the island. Madam Speaker, my ministry is fully conscious of the need for a wider network of charging facilities to cater for the growing number of vehicles propelled fully or partly by electrical energy. Any extension of such facilities will have to be carefully considered, taking into account safety requirements at dispensing points, electricity grid capacity, space constraints at filling stations, investment implications, and cost charged to vehicle per kilometer hour consumed. Another factor which may have to be considered is the constant improvement in electric vehicle technology. Madam Speaker, the range of operations of electric vehicles have almost doubled in recent years, from about an autonomy of 300 kilometers to 500 to 600 kilometers for a fully charged battery. This improvement reduces considerably the requirement for a top-up at public charging facility, particularly with daily kilometers, because we are a small island and we are 46 kilometers in width and 65 kilometers in length. So, nevertheless, to end, Madam Speaker, the NLTA will hold consultations with the Ministry of Public Utilities, the petrol supplying companies, and other relevant stakeholders in order to gauge the necessity for the increase in the number of charging facilities and for coming up with a regulatory framework which will address issues of concern in my reply. Thank you.
Yes, you're okay? Yeah?
Yes, thank you, Madam the Speaker. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House as to whether it is possible for him to impose a time frame on those providers, on those petrol stations who are already providing the services, and the public service vehicle, that the hybrid vehicles, as to whether they can impose a time frame to facilitate those services?
I believe the petrol stations who are offering these facilities have problems to get customers because under the Electricity Act, no one is allowed to sell electricity without a permit. So what filling stations do is they charge it on time at the station, at the filling station. And when you do the calculations, Madam Speaker, it is as double as what you will be charging if you're doing it at home. So that is why there are not so much of uptake at filling stations. So, but then the regulatory framework that I mentioned in my substantive reply will address this issue.
Okay. That was good, huh? Okay. So we finished with Mr. Sibon. You have another question.
Yes.
You have another question.
Yes, Madam. The Speaker's question B/102, please.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the Solid Waste Management Division of our Ministry had commissioned a feasibility study on the setting up and operation of an end-of-life vehicle, ELV, recycling facility in Mauritius for the depollution, dismantling and recycling of ELV in June 2021 with the assistance of EU-Africa RISE operating under the European Union. The main findings of the feasibility study are, amongst others, as follows. A, the operation of the ELV recycling facility is feasible and sustainable. B, there is a need to review the Road Traffic Act to enable the enforcement of payment of penalties fined by the polluter. And C, the need for new regulations to cater for both total loss and abandoned vehicles. And D, the need for relevant stakeholders, namely the Police Department, the Police de l'Environnement, the Ministry of Land Transport and Highways, and the National Land Transport Authority to review processes regarding the management of total loss vehicles and verification of such vehicles by qualified persons. The House may further wish to note that currently there is no official management system or treatment facility for the recycling of these ELV at the level of my ministry, and it is therefore imperative that we come up with a sustainable solution thereto in order to protect our population and our environment. My ministry is working on that score. Madam Speaker, following the feasibility study submitted in April 2022, multi-sectoral meetings were held with relevant stakeholders to discuss on the way forward. The following proposals were made inter alia. The preparation of regulations by the Solid Waste Management Division of my ministry for the use of license for the setting up and operation of a recycling facility for the depollution and recycling of ELVs. 2, invitation by the Solid Waste Management Division to potential promoters to set up and operate licensed recycling facilities for ELVs. And 3, amendment to the existing regulations of the Ministry of Land Transport and Light Rail and preparation of regulations to channel the ELVs toward the licensed recycling facilities. The House needs to note, but with a view to encouraging environmentally sustainable management of ELV, several actions have already been initiated by my ministry and relevant stakeholders. The Solid Waste Management Division has prepared draft regulations for the licensing of a recycling facility for the depollution and recycling treatment of ELVs. And on the other hand, the Ministry of Land Transport and Light Rail has prepared a draft regulation to channel the ELVs to recycling treatment facility. The Ministry of Land Transport and Light Rail has informed that we are working actively on the draft road traffic disposal of abandoned and salvaged motor vehicles regulations 2026 in consultation with my ministry. And the proposed legislation aims to establish a comprehensive framework of identification, management and disposal of abandoned vehicles as well as vehicles classified as total loss. Abandoned vehicles are not only an eyesore but represent a threat to the environment in view of the nuisances and pollution they can cause. As at to date, around 58 abandoned vehicles have been moved to Fort George, 108 to the Larura transfer station by the Police Department with the assistance of the Police de l'Environnement. It is expected that the forthcoming regulatory framework will lay the groundwork for more structured and environmentally sound material recovery practices, facilitating the development of appropriate vehicle dismantling and recycling mechanisms in line with national sustainability objectives.
Thank you. Yes. First, Mr. Siburn, and then you.
Thank you, Madam the Speaker. I thank the Honourable Minister. Can the Honourable Minister also consider the possibility of, once the setting up of the recycling vehicle facility is put in place, to provide a financial incentive to those owners of those vehicles who want to dispose their vehicles in an environmentally friendly manner?
We are working on validation, all the parties concerned.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Lubin, yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I ask the Honourable Minister whether there is a comprehensive study with regard to the number of end-of-life vehicles that we have around the island as at now? It is scattered all around the island, but we don't have specific survey for that.
This survey is in process. I can assure my Honourable Member this is a real problem. It's an eyesore. So we are working not only by ourselves, but with the local authorities.
Yes, I'm just laughing because we know in Rosehill where to find these vehicles.
We all know.
Thank you, Madam. May I ask the Honourable Minister, until the setup of a recycling unit, which will take time obviously, will His Ministry not consider having a dedicated compound in certain areas of this country where these eyesores, abandoned and old cars, are now being used as little drug dens and sometimes for cheap prostitution?
I do agree with my good friend. It's a real problem. But the problem is that we are working with the police. We have been using the La Lora Center and also a site at Fort George with the help of the police. So this is a real problem, and I think any suggestion from any honourable member, it's not me only, so it's most welcome.
Okay. Let's hope that the eyesores will go gradually. We'll get rid of these eyesores, huh? Okay, Mr. Bichuk, yes? Do you want to share the joke?
No, sorry, Madam. I'm sorry, Madam. B103, please.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I shall reply to this PQ. I am informed by the Tourism Authority that following inspections carried out by its Monitoring and Compliance Unit from January to March 2026, 25 contraventions have been issued for non-compliance to conditions of licenses, namely operation hours, permitted noise level, and maximum number of persons at a time, amongst others. B, one entity, SC Company Limited, based in Eban, which holds a valid license to operate as a pub, was carrying out nightclub activities without having the appropriate tourist enterprise license, was booked on 14th of March 2026. C, another company, BPE Limited, based in Quatre-Bornes, which was advertising and operating as pub without holding the appropriate tourist enterprise license, was booked on 14th of March 2026. And D, another restaurant, B Limited, at Grand Bay, was operating as pub nightclub without appropriate license, was booked on 22nd of March 2026. Madam Speaker, I am informed that severe actions have been taken by the Tourism Authority against these three companies. On 23rd of March 2026, PBE Limited was issued with a provisional closing down order, and the other two were instructed to show cause as to why their respective licenses should not be suspended. Actions are being contemplated against other operators to ensure that activities are undertaken in a sustainable manner, in line with the legislation and according to guidelines and conditions to license, while assuring safety and security for both tourists and Mauritians. The Tourism Authority will continue to carry out regular inspections together with the Mauritius police force and other relevant authorities to ensure strict compliance with licensing conditions and public safety regulations are adhered to. I must point out, Madam Speaker, that the inspection carried out by the Monitoring and Compliance Unit of the Tourism Authority are done jointly with representatives of other institutions, including the Police du Tourisme, the Police de l'Environnement, the Emergency Response Service, la Brigade des Mineurs, the National Coast Guard, the Sanitary Health Inspection Division of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the Beach Authority. Madam Speaker, I wish to assure the Honourable Member that the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Authority are doing their utmost to reinforce enforcement mechanisms so as to ensure that public order and our tourism sector are safeguarded.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Bichuk.
Yes, Madam, I thank the acting Honourable Minister of Tourism for this comprehensive reply. However, is the Minister aware that pubs are not allowed to run dance floors and run concerts with amplified equipments? Is the Minister aware that it is currently the practice that pubs run as nightclubs outside permitted hours, generating all sorts of hazards, which is high level of alcohol, traffic issues, and noise pollution?
I'm not aware, but I will ask the Tourism Authority to take appropriate actions.
Thank you, Minister. Yes, you won't be aware.
Will the Minister agree that very often the fine that is imposed to these pubs that operate as nightclubs are maybe 100 or 1,000 times lesser than the amount of revenue that they generate on one particular day, and does it act as a deterrent to, with regard to those illegal activities?
You know, Minister?
As I'm not the substantive minister, I will talk to the substantive minister on it.
Yeah, logically what you want is for the law.
Question. Is the Honourable Minister ready to meet with the stakeholders of this industry to mettre de l'ordre in this bazaar that is operating in this sector?
Tu vas passer le message.
Well, I'm ready to meet them if necessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I think the message has gone. Okay. Now I am calling on the third member for Pamplemousses and Triolet, Mr. Rockney.
Madam Speaker, B104.
Thank you.
Madame la Présidente, mon ministère dispose d'un plan directeur pour la gestion intégrée des ressources en eau à Maurice. Le plan directeur définit la feuille de route pour la mobilisation, le stockage, la distribution de l'eau à l'horizon de 2050. Il présente la planification stratégique des projets tels que la construction de nouveaux barrages, la réhabilitation ou l'agrandissement des barrages existants, la construction des prises d'eau directes dans les rivières ou en réservoir et le forage des puits. Ces projets sont mis en œuvre en fonction des priorités et des financements disponibles. Madame la Présidente, face à la sécheresse sans précédent que connaît le pays depuis 2024 en particulier, mon ministère a élaboré un plan Marshall approuvé par le cabinet en octobre 2025, l'année dernière. Ce plan définit la stratégie du ministère pour mobiliser des ressources en eau supplémentaires, court et à moyen terme. Le plan Marshall repose sur 6 piliers stratégiques. Le premier, le développement actif des eaux souterraines. Le plan prévoit en priorité le forage d'une vingtaine de puits supplémentaires au cours des 3 prochaines années. Il est à noter que depuis novembre 2025, donc l'année dernière, 8 nouveaux puits ont été forés, permettant d'injecter 24 800 mètres cubes d'eau par jour supplémentaires dans le réseau. Le coût, ça va coûter autour de 263 millions de roupies, étalés sur plusieurs années. Pilier 2, expansion des eaux de surface, le déploiement des systèmes de traitement décentralisés, donc les CPF, qu'on met dans les rivières pour pomper l'eau, permettant la purification de l'eau sur les sites et approvisionnement en eau réparti et résilient, constitue un autre volet du plan Marshall. Depuis octobre 2025, donc l'année dernière, la CW a installé 7 CPF et prélève environ 15 500 mètres cubes d'eau supplémentaires chaque jour pour alimenter plusieurs régions de l'île. La CW a lancé un appel d'offres l'année dernière pour l'installation de 15 CPF supplémentaires à proximité des cours d'eau, donc des rivières, des lacs. La procédure d'acquisition est en cours auprès de CBB. Le projet financé par le gouvernement est estimé à 310 millions de roupies sur plusieurs années, encore une fois. Troisième pilier, le plan Marshall préconise l'utilisation de l'eau hydroélectrique, l'eau que le CEB utilise pour produire l'électricité. Donc nous allons encore pomper cette eau-là pour remettre sur le réseau, pour augmenter l'approvisionnement en eau. Il est prévu de prélever et traiter 4000 m3 par jour du barrage de Sans Souci. Cela va coûter autour de 40 millions de roupies. Quatrième pilier, le plan propose également l'utilisation des eaux usées, wastewater management, le 2 de wastewater, pour l'irrigation des cultures de la canne à sucre. L'association des usagers du canal Magenta, en collaboration avec la Chambre d'agriculture, a déjà manifesté son intention d'utiliser quotidiennement environ 30 000 m3 d'eau usée traitée de la station de Saint-Martin. Nous utilisons déjà l'eau traitée pour Montchoisy, dans la région du Nord, pour l'irrigation. Cinquième pilier, Madame la Présidente, le dessalement. Nous étudions actuellement un projet de dessalement à moyen et court terme des usines de dessalement. Ainsi, l'appel à manifestation, Expression of Interest, pour la réalisation d'une étude de faisabilité en vue de la mise en place d'une usine de dessalement de 50 000 m3 par jour dans le Nord, que pour le Nord. Donc, cela a été lancé le 5 septembre de l'année dernière, de 2025, à l'échelle internationale par mon ministère. La date limite de dépôt de candidature a été fixée pour le 14 novembre de l'année dernière. 14 candidatures ont été reçues et évaluées. À l'issue de cette procédure, un appel d'offres sera lancé d'ici la fin de ce mois pour une étude de faisabilité. J'ai discuté aussi, je peux dire, avec les responsables du gouvernement marocain concernant le dessalement. Ils sont extrêmement avancés dans ce secteur. Donc, pour un projet de dessalement de 50 000 m3 par jour. J'ai aussi l'intention d'aller voir à Rodrigue, le projet de dessalement à Rodrigue, je crois que c'est à Pointe-Coton, qui est en construction. Sixième pilier, Madame la Présidente, on veut aussi dévier l'eau des rivières qui se perd dans la mer. Le plan propose l'étude de la construction éventuelle afin de retenir les eaux de surface en amont qui autrement se déversaient dans la mer. Dans un premier temps, il est prévu de détourner l'eau de la rivière Eau Bleue vers le réservoir de Midlands. Par ailleurs, afin d'améliorer aussi, il n'y a pas que construire pour le stockage, mais il faudra aussi réparer les fuites, les pertes que nous avons dans le réseau, parce que plus de 60% de l'eau que nous mettons sur les réseaux perd, vous réalisez. Donc, par ailleurs, afin d'améliorer la gestion des pertes, le gouvernement a obtenu un prêt de 2,9 milliards de roupies du gouvernement indien, destiné au remplacement de 114 km de tuyaux pour 13 régions du pays. Enfin, Madame la Présidente, pour remédier durablement aux pénuries d'eau chroniques dans le sud, pas chez vous, monsieur l'honorable membre, mais dans le sud du pays, la construction du barrage de Rivière des Anguilles a été lancée. Donc la construction va commencer en novembre-décembre de cette année-ci. Donc, cela va aider énormément, la région du Sud, mais cela va permettre aussi à la CWA, la Water Resources Commission, de se servir de l'eau que nous distribuons actuellement dans le Sud, de servir pour d'autres régions. Donc cela aura un double effet. Je pense que... Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Madame la Présidente, malgré l'injection des additionnels 24 000 m3 d'eau dans nos réseaux, ma circonscription, la circonscription numéro 5 et la circonscription numéro 6, a fait face à un manque d'eau sans précédent, même pire que les 10 années précédentes, que ce soit pour le potable ou l'eau qu'on utilise pour l'irrigation. Quelle en a été la cause et pourquoi est-ce que certaines régions continuent à faire un tel manque?
Je dois préciser, Madame la Présidente, qu'il n'y a pas que la circonscription de l'honorable membre. Le Nord en particulier a été affecté. Le Nord en particulier a été affecté. Et je dirais que le réservoir de la Nicolière, c'est le réservoir qui alimente la région du Nord et qui est utilisé du côté domestique et agricole. Ce que nous faisons bien souvent, Madame la Présidente, c'est que nous distribuons l'eau par la gravité. Donc il faudra remplir les réservoirs pour que l'eau descende chez certaines personnes. Deuxième chose, c'est que nous faisons face à une sécheresse. Le mois de février a été le mois le plus sec depuis 104 ans. Vous réalisez. Donc, il nous faut prendre de l'eau de Midlands pour remplir le réservoir de la Nicolière qui desservit le Nord. Une chose. Et deuxièmement, nous avons un problème de pression sur le réseau. Vous savez, les tuyaux que nous avons datent de 50 ans, de 60 ans. Une chose. Deuxième chose, c'est que quand nous avons dépensé les 700 millions de roupies de pipe replacement programme dans le temps, nous n'avons rien reçu en termes de improvement sur les pertes. Si nous mettons trop de pression sur le réseau, les réseaux explosent. Si nous mettons pas suffisamment de pression sur les réseaux, les gens n'arrivent pas à voir l'eau, ou certaines personnes en hauteur. Je peux dire que le dessalement va aider, c'est pour cette raison que nous avons décidé de commencer avec une station de dessalement dans le Nord. Parce que dans le Nord, nous avons principalement à satisfaire les domestiques, c'est vrai, mais aussi les clients domestiques, mais aussi l'agriculture. Si vous donnez trop aux résidentiels, le secteur agricole se plaint, ils disent que les légumes, on n'a pas arrêté l'irrigation des légumes malgré la sécheresse. Ceci dit, je peux comprendre, je suis d'accord avec l'honorable membre que le Nord, nous faisons face le Nord actuellement à ce souci. Mais c'est pour cette raison que dans le plan Marshall, nous avons donné plus de priorité au Nord en termes de forage, en termes de CPF, pour augmenter la capacité de distribution.
Yes, Mr. Hoffman.
Je remercie le ministre, l'honorable ministre et le cabinet en général pour l'effort consenti pour résoudre ce problème-là. Je voudrais savoir dans combien de temps les utilisateurs, les consommateurs vont ressentir un improvement.
C'est difficile à dire que, vous savez, malheureusement, celui qui avait promis des lots 24/7 n'est pas là, vous réalisez? Donc, je peux dire que nous avons un plan Marshall à court, moyen et long terme. L'honorable membre doit sûrement savoir que je parle ici des projets de plusieurs milliards de roupies. Le projet de dessalement, je me bats pour qu'on puisse avoir un G2G entre gouvernement et gouvernement pour financer ce genre de projet. Du jour au lendemain, je vais être franc, du jour au lendemain, on ne pourra pas dire que le Nord va être satisfait de la distribution. Mais nous faisons le maximum possible pour augmenter la capacité. On fait tout en termes de CPF, en termes de pompage dans les rivières, en termes de forage, en termes de dessalement, mais il faudra malheureusement, là ce projet actuel, le plan Marshall, va permettre de mobiliser 150 000 mètres cubes dans les années à venir, 150 000 mètres cubes supplémentaires, en ajoutant le rivière des Anguilles-Dames. Donc, pour vous dire que c'est pas quelque chose que du jour au lendemain on pourra satisfaire, il nous faut impérativement renouveler les tuyaux que nous avons, parce que vous réalisez, 100 mètres cubes d'eau que nous mettons sur le réseau, 62 mètres cubes que 40 mètres cubes arrivent chez vous. Donc, il faudra vous mettre le double pour que vous puissiez satisfaire les régions.
Bonne chance, yes.
Oui.
Mr. Levin.
Yes. May I ask the Honourable Minister, with regard to this Marshall Plan being put in place, will the Honourable Minister consider the already comprehensive plan prepared by the Singaporean government, a G2G done way back in 2013, for the establishment of a water authority, but also there was a clear roadmap that unfortunately the previous government didn't adhere to. Will he consider this comprehensive document that is still there at the ministry?
Je dois dire que mon ministère discute actuellement avec les responsables singapouriens. Ils étaient à Maurice il y a quelque temps de cela, on a eu pas mal de rencontres, et je peux dire que le plan Marshall a été élaboré en collaboration avec les Singapouriens.
Très bien. Monsieur Duval.
Madame la ministre, qu'en est-il des projets immobiliers dans la région du Nord qui ont dû opter pour ne pas être connectés au réseau d'eau pour pouvoir avoir le permis de construction? Y a-t-il un plan pour eux, pour les reconnecter dans la durée? Il y a pas mal de projets immobiliers, à ma connaissance, qui sont complètement en dehors du réseau de la CWA et qui doivent s'approvisionner en privé. Et on parle de biens immobiliers qui sont vendus à des millions de dollars, d'euros, etc. Quel est le plan pour eux?
Yes, Minister.
Je dois dire que l'honorable Tanou n'est pas là. Elle m'avait fait visiter dans la circonscription numéro 8, je me rappelle, un morcellement qui était malheureusement du réseau, et on fait le nécessaire on essaye de faire le nécessaire. Je dois dire que il y a des réseaux qui sont éloignés. Par exemple, je ne sais pas de quel morcellement l'honorable membre parle aujourd'hui. Mais, comment? Plusieurs. Je dois dire que mais vous savez, le problème c'est que la CWA n'a plus un sou. Il faut bien le dire. La CWA n'a plus un sou. Je l'ai dit à plusieurs reprises, je ne vais pas me répéter ici. Mais nous avons un plan d'ensemble pour essayer de raccorder. Mais raccorder, vous savez, bien souvent, les réservoirs que nous avons suffisent pour alimenter une région. Mais quand la région se développe avec des dizaines et dizaines d'autres développements aux alentours, il nous faut impérativement upgrade nos réservoirs et notre réseau pour pouvoir... C'est la même chose. Un tuyau de cette grosseur peut alimenter 10 maisons, mais si vous avez 20 maisons, il faudra redoubler, donc changer les tuyaux. Donc nous avons aussi un projet pour essayer de raccorder. Mais bien souvent, certains morcellements sont vendus alors que, de par la loi, ils sont obligés de mettre le réseau électrique et le réseau d'eau, mais malheureusement, certains promoteurs ne font pas le cas.
Yes, Mr. Ramkilawan.
Yes. Can the Honourable Minister state whether his ministry is encouraging firms producing drinking water from air, that is called atmospheric water generation?
Toutes les propositions sont les bienvenues. Si l'honorable membre a des propositions, mais c'est le bienvenu au sein du ministère.
Très bien. Yes. Good. Now, Honourable Third Member for Babassin, Petite Rivière.
P105. Madam Speaker, I would like to refer the House to my reply to PQ B220 at our sitting on 25th March 2025, wherein I had stated that while I am fully prepared to report on matters pertaining to Sport Federation in relation to their obligations under the Sport Act 2016, it will not be appropriate to report on their internal affairs. It is to be highlighted that national sport federations are autonomous bodies, and as such affiliation of clubs, sports clubs, thereto are an internal matter of the respective federation. As such, any queries regarding such matters should normally be addressed to the federation concerned. Madam Speaker, I can, however, inform the House on action taken at the level of my ministry to find a lasting solution to this long-standing dispute between the Federation and some clubs seeking affiliation with it. Since January 2025, 3 conciliation meetings have been held between the contesting parties and the Federation without success. After proactive discussion, in September 2025, the Federation finally agreed to the finalization and formalization of the affiliation criteria, following which a structured process was initiated. I'm informed by the Federation that 13 and not 18 clubs had applied for affiliation with the Federation, a motion de judo. Out of these 13, 6 clubs had obtained official recognition from the Federation, I am given to understand that the affiliation process is ongoing since the Federation has informed that one of the clubs that has not been retained for affiliation has not fulfilled the criteria, and its status will be considered at the forthcoming annual general meeting scheduled for 21st of this month. I wish to underline that this partial resolution represents a positive development. The only pending case in that of the Cassie Fraternel Judo Club, and I understand that it is the General Assembly of the Federation that has refused the affiliation on the said club on various grounds. I am further informed that while Cassie Fraternel Judo Club had previously brought a case before the Sport Arbitration Tribunal regarding affiliation matters, it has withdrawn the case itself on 31st July 2025. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that my ministry, keeping in mind the autonomous status of the Sport Federation, remain fully attentive to the situation in the best interest of all judokas, and has advised the Federation to continue guiding the non-affiliated clubs in addressing any identified shortcomings so that they may fulfill the required criteria for future affiliation.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. L'honorable ministre sera, je pense, d'accord que cette situation dure depuis des années. Il a parlé dans sa réponse, Madame la Présidente, de 6 clubs qui ont récemment été affiliés. D'après mes informations, ces 6 clubs ne font pas partie des clubs qui ont été pénalisés durant ces dernières années. Je viens à ma question. Peut-on savoir, dans le cas du judo, on sait très bien, l'honorable ministre a appliqué la guillotine en ce qui concerne le badminton. Peut-on savoir pourquoi, en ce qui concerne cette fédération, une situation qui perdure depuis des années, qui pénalise nos judokas et judokates depuis des années, pourquoi il parle d'autonomie, oui, mais pourquoi dans le cas de cette fédération, il n'a pas appliqué la guillotine qui aurait dû être appliquée depuis pas mal de temps pour permettre justement à cette fédération de se rendre compte qu'on ne peut pas continuellement, par je ne sais quelle raison, conflit ou autre, pénaliser des athlètes alors qu'ils font de leur mieux pour faire flotter le quadricolore. Pourquoi a-t-on attendu tout ce temps?
Minister.
Madam Speaker, the honourable member will surely know that using 9 in the Sport Act is not what we can use here for the judo. We have applied for another federation because they do not meet the criteria. They do not respect the Sport Acts. But here, I ask the honourable member, give me one point that I can do to apply what you mean guillotine for that federation. I'm willing to do it if you give me the reason.
Okay, why don't you deal with this nicely afterwards? You want to? I do.
Je ne vais pas polémiquer, je vais simplement dire à l'honorable ministre qu'on attend, que le monde sportif mauricien attend avec impatience que ce problème soit réglé.
On a entendu. On vous a entendu.
Voilà.
Simplement, on ne peut pas comprendre.
Honourable member, I'm fully agree with you on that issue, and I'm the person who is going to be very fair and honest if the Cassie Fraternel get the affiliation.
J'arrive pas à bien suivre. Your next question. The next question.
B106.
Yes, next question. This
Yeah.
one is badminton.
Madam Speaker, being given that this question requires a long answer, I'm tabling, with your permission, the chronology of events that have led to the decision to dissolve the managing committee of the Mauritius Badminton Association on 10 March 2026. It was the culmination of a prolonged period of instability governance, failures, repeated complaints from athletes, parents, and former members of the MBA. I'm taking this decision by my ministry as acted in the broader public interest and in line with its responsibility to ensure that the National Sports Federation operate in accordance with the principle of good governance, transparency, accountability, and the proper protection of athletes. In accordance with Section 99C2 of the Sport Act 2016, my ministry has initiated consultation with the Mauritius Olympic Committee with a view to appointing a temporary committee. My ministry considered this intervention to be essential in order to protect the integrity of the sport and safeguard the interests of all affiliated clubs, athletes, and stakeholders within the badminton community. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that I had a meeting with the President of the MOC on Wednesday, 18 March 2026, and in a correspondence dated 18 March 2026, he has informed my ministry that he had an urgent executive committee meeting to discuss the matter. We were further informed that the MOC had referred the matter to the legal department of the International Olympic Committee for advice. Madam Speaker, I wish also to inform the House that communication has also been established with the Badminton World Federation, governing body for the sport of badminton, through its legal and governance department. The MBA is a member of the Badminton World Federation. The latter has requested the ministry to share with them the detailed ground for the dissolution of the managing committee. The BWF informed that, in principle, its constitution protects member association against government interference, but it does understand that such intervention is sometimes necessary to put the association back on the right track. Madam Speaker, my ministry remains committed to working with all relevant parties to ensure a smooth transition and to restore stability, transparency, and good governance within the sport of badminton in Mauritius.
Yes.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Et je dois faire ressortir que le badminton est une discipline qui régulièrement fait honneur au pays et ça ne date pas d'aujourd'hui. Donc, l'honorable ministre peut-il confirmer si son ministère a eu des consultations préalables avec l'association mauricienne de badminton, pas le comité olympique mauricien, avant la dissolution de son comité directeur, et si tel est le cas, de bien vouloir nous donner les dates.
No, I have not such meeting with the Federation of the Badminton, but what I've stated in my reply, what stated in my reply, enough to take the necessary action.
It's
so
not
there
a
was not
federation.
any meeting.
It's not a federation, it's association.
No, c'est une fédération.
C'est une fédération. Allez,
Yeah.
ok. On n'appelle pas ça fédération.
Je peux bien comprendre la réponse de l'honorable ministre, mais je crois que la moindre des choses, avant d'appliquer la sanction suprême, parce que, comme il l'a dit dans sa réponse à ma question précédente, la section 99C, on l'applique en dernier recours, effectivement, en dernier recours. Et là, ma question est, pourquoi n'y a-t-il pas... Je ne suis pas en train de défendre la fédération, je ne suis pas en train de remettre en question les reproches qui sont adressés à cette fédération. Je demande simplement pourquoi l'honorable ministre et son ministère n'ont pas jugé bon de rencontrer, de les mettre devant les faits par rapport à tout ce qui est reproché. Il a fait sortir un communiqué récemment, il l'a dit. Pourquoi, quand il parle d'autonomie, pourquoi il n'a pas jugé bon de rencontrer ces personnes?
Short and sweet.
I've already
Pourquoi?
replied to that question, Madam Speaker.
Il ne va pas répondre plus que ça. Oui, vous ne pouvez pas l'obliger.
Non, je ne l'oblige pas, mais...
Oui, mais on note.
Mais on prend connaissance.
On note.
de
On
ce
note.
qu'il dit.
Okay. Next question. Okay, we finish with badminton. Now, Honourable First Member for Portrees North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B107, please.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to first thank Honourable for this question. As I had already indicated in my reply, PQB 1135 on 2nd of December 2025, there has been a sharp increase in online harms over recent years, particularly affecting youth. With your permission, Madam, I'd like to provide a very quick update on the numbers. Shall I?
Yes.
Yeah. So, based on incidents reported by the public through the MOCOS system, MOCOS is Mauritian Cybercrime Online Reporting System, between January 26 to date, there have been 1,727 cyber incidents, which implies an average of 21 cases per day, out of which 275 cases referred to cyberbullying and 523 to online harassment. What is important to note here is that 78 of those victims are aged between 11 and 18, and most of them are females. And this reflects an increase compared to previous years, and the numbers were given in my response, December 2020.